I'm holding right now a Nanlite PavoTube 230X and an Amaran 4C. These are the two lights from these two manufacturers, and I'm gonna talk about what I like about each and what I don't. Let's get into it. All right, guys, without further ado, I'm gonna start talking about the Nanlite PavoTube. This is the PavoTube 230X, and it is the second version of the Nanlite tubes. This is by far my favorite version. I've been using these for over a year now, and I got the 4 kit. Just some quick facts on this one. This is a 4-foot light. They have a 2-foot version that I do not own, as well as a 8-foot version, I believe. It is 746 claimed lux output at 1 meter, and it has a ton of party modes and different effects that you can do on it. It has a CRI of 97, and also it has DMX control as well as wireless app control, which was the main reason that I upgraded from the original PavoTubes to this one. That has come in handy, as I'm able to maybe put the light somewhere up high or away from the set, and then I can control it with an app. Another cool feature is that, of course, they did the buttons differently on this one versus the previous one. The buttons are recessed, and there's also a physical slide on and off switch. I know the other PavoTubes, sometimes the switch will get hit inadvertently, and you'll end up going to a shoot, and you turn it on, and there's no power because the switch turned on in the bag. So that has luckily been fixed. It does charge through a 12-volt DC barrel right here, and unofficially they say you are not able to charge with the USB-C port, but I have actually done it. Not sure if that's good or bad for the light, probably not great. However, that is something that I've done, and it's worked. There's also a few different 1/4-20 thread mounting points. There's one here on the back, one on the other side on the back, as well as one on the bottom, which is a welcome addition, since now you can stand these up on some kind of tripod or a stand that you can screw to the bottom to keep these standing upright, which is super cool. The light has a 96-minute runtime, as well as a 3.5-hour charge time using, again, the DC barrel input. All right, so let's talk about what I like and don't like about this light. Offhand, what I love about it is that it is bright. Maybe not as bright as maybe like an Astera Titan tube. However, it is super bright, especially for the price, considering I believe these are like $400 each. I got a set of 4 for about $1,400 if I recall correctly. These prices are probably all wrong, so I'll put them on the screen. However, again, they're bright. I feel like they last a really long time, and they're built really sturdy, which is awesome. Now, on that note, I'll start with the con, which the first one is, because they're built so well, they are metal pretty much all around except for the front, and that makes them super heavy. So, including some of Nanlite's own accessories for tube holders, these have fallen clean off of whatever holder and hit the ground. So I would recommend a more solid solution for mounting these. A lot of times a 1/4 inch on the back or front, or laying these on the ground, or putting them on a stand comes in super handy for safety. I'll also add that these have fallen a great deal of times off of some pretty high places, and they are still kicking, which is incredible. To be honest, that's the one thing I can say about this light that I absolutely love. I've had them for sure, I believe, over a year, and they're still rocking. Battery hasn't really changed too much as far as I've been able to tell, but super great light. I've been using them for years, and I highly recommend this light for all of you who are looking for a tube light. I know it's not the cheapest, but it is certainly a very, very good tube light. Like, there's really no competition in this category at this point until now. But before we get into that, I will add that later on I want to do a brightness test comparing the Nanlite to the Amaran in the same distance, just to show the difference in brightness for each color. All right, up next, I want to talk about the Amaran PT4C. This is technically Amaran's This is technically Aputure/Amaran's second foray into tube lighting. First was the one with the battery handle that I wasn't a huge fan of because of the handle. This has the battery built in, which is a big improvement for me, as well as a new redesigned menu system and some other options. So we'll go into it. This is a 4-foot version. This is the one I'm reviewing currently against the PavoTube, so we'll go head to head in comparison. It does have 332 lux, I believe, at 1 meter, which is about half the power that the PavoTube claims to have at full power. That is at 5600 Kelvin. All right, in terms of runtime, this does 170 minutes versus Nanlite's 96, so it is almost double the runtime, so I suppose it kind of evens out. It also charges in 190 minutes, which is also faster than the PavoTube. Another cool thing is that the charging situation is done via USB-C, so it's a lot more convenient, especially if you own an Android phone like myself. Yep, I know. You can charge all your PavoTubes off USB-C, and that's a little bit easier to manage. Another great thing about the Amaran is that, of course, it does and is compatible with Sidus Link, which so are most of all Aputure's lights released in the last 3 to 5 years. As usual, like I mentioned, it also does have a bunch of great effects that Aputure is known for. You know, their fire effects, candle, paparazzi, things like that. So these are all included on this one. The tube is white, which is different from the PavoTube. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't really mind it. I don't really use these as practicals, mainly as key lights or kickers, so not a big deal for me, but just something of note. Also, one thing I failed to mention with the PavoTubes is, just like the PavoTubes, these have stepped edges, so you can position the light in whichever angle you would like within the set angles that it has. The front is rounded, unlike the PavoTube, so you cannot set it facing some kind of downward angle if you wanted to do that, so just something to note. The Amaran weighs 3 pounds instead of almost 4 pounds on the PavoTube. However, it is pretty much an all plastic build, so I'm not sure that these will be quite as durable as the PavoTubes have been for me. Lastly, these have a 3/8 inch top and bottom threads, which are going to be more sturdy than a 1/4 inch connection. So that's another thing I'm a big fan of. So pros and cons. Pros, of course, for this one is that it's a little bit lighter, has Sidus Link support, which is, I believe, a stronger app, possibly than Nanlite. That could change in the future, however, and to be honest, the Nanlite life has been pretty good overall, just a little bit like clunkier to use. Another thing, like I mentioned, is having the 3/8 inch at the top and bottom is a welcome addition because I feel like those are better mounting points. Now, down to the cons. My first con is that these are pricey for what you're getting, in my opinion. You PavoTubes, you're getting double the brightness. Yes, it's a little bit less runtime, but honestly, if you need less power, just run it at a lower output and you'll have a longer runtime. With this, you really can't go brighter than the brightest point, which is, again, about half of the brightness of the PavoTube. We'll go ahead and test that here in a few to see what the difference is in those outputs. Another con is that they only have a 2 light kit and not a 4 light kit. I would have been very happy getting a 4 light kit, but of course, that's just what it is. I suppose if you wanted a higher quality or more lights, you can get the infinity bars. All right, so I'm done talking. Let's get into our testing. All right, so I'm shooting right now with the PavoTube, roughly 4 feet away from me. I'm going to sit here to keep it even, as well as put the tubes in the exact same position. Right now that's at 3200 Kelvin at 100%, and this is how bright it looks. We ended up at a 3.3 f-stop on this Pocket 6K at 400 ISO. This is the full brightness at 5600 Kelvin. So what'd you guys think? Yeah, both of these are really good lights. Personally, I would go with the PavoTube over the Amaran, especially because when you compare like cost to cost, you're getting more punch out of these in pretty much all situations. And if you need it to last longer, you can just dim it down. The only thing you're not getting, of course, is Sidus Link, which is a great ecosystem, and of course it works with all my other lights, which are mostly Aputure. But I do have hopes that Nanlite will continue to upgrade and bring new features to the Nanlite software. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, again, leave them down below. Smash that subscribe button or whatever the cool kids say these days. Peace.